Okay, so the biggest game so far of the Amorim era is but a few hours away, and if I'm being honest, I'm nervous, very nervous. But just like these players, we've got to push through the nerves. On that note, here are all the reasons why Manchester United will beat Arsenal at the Emirates. Let's go. Arsenal are second in the league on 25 points with a goal difference of 12, having scored 26 and conceded 14 goals. Now, this may sound surprising given how badly we've performed at the start of this season, but United have actually conceded less goals than Arsenal, conceding only 13, also making United's defence statistically the second best in the league. The story of Arsenal's season so far has been that they can't get a result against a top team, with the only exception being Tottenham, but on a derby day, anything can happen. Arsenal have drawn or lost to the likes of Brighton, Man City, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea, so it's a common conclusion for people to believe that when they come up against the greatest team to have ever played the beautiful game, that they won't be able to cope, and this will result in a draw. When we look at Arsenal's last 3 league performances, there's no doubt they're on a good run, but here are some other trends to watch out for during the game. First off, Arsenal are going to try and dominate the possession. In their last 3 performances, they have averaged 59% possession. Knowing that Amorim also wants to dominate possession, this is where the first battle on the pitch will be won or lost. To elaborate this point even further, these are Arsenal's results in the Premier League when they haven't had more possession than the opponent. Man City 2-2 draw away from home. Tottenham 1-0 win away from home. Brighton 1-1 draw home. Liverpool 2-2 draw at home. I mean, obviously you look at City, Tottenham, Brighton and Liverpool, and it would be unrealistic for me to say that Amorim has got United performing to their levels. But if we were to get a result at the Emirates, even if it was a draw, I suspect this would come from United having more possession and shocking Arsenal by putting them on the back foot. Something which Amorim also agrees with, having said this in the pre-match presser. It's important to be brave, not pressing all the time higher. We need to have the ball. That's a key point. We want to dominate moments of the game because it's hard to control the whole game. Something which I did find quite interesting when looking into Arsenal's performances was their XG. Despite the Arsenal team of today being known for their free-flowing attacking football and their rugged defensive ability, this isn't reflected in their XG. Arsenal are currently 5th in the league for XG difference. That's the average amount of XG they've created minus the amount of XG they've conceded, with an overall XG efficiency of plus 0.27. It's not as though they're miles ahead of us, with United's being plus 0.2. The biggest area where Arsenal have actually surpassed United is their XG the actual. This measures the team's actual goals scored against the expected goals scored. A negative number is bad since the team is scoring less than expected. A positive number means the team is scoring more than expected. Arsenal's XG the actual plus 0.4, making them the 4th most clinical team in the league. United's XG the actual minus 0.16, making them the 12th most clinical team in the league. However, you have to bear in mind that this stat incorporates our time under Ten Hag as well. How many times this season did we just have to go into games and hope that the players finished their chances under Eric? The answer is a lot, if not all of the games since the start of the season. But ever since Ten Hag's sacking, the forward players have begun to turn up. In the 7 matches post Ten Hag, not only have United gone undefeated, they've also been clinical. Post Ten Hag, United have produced 11.67 XG and have scored 19 goals, showing that we really have turned a corner with our clinical nature and proving that we don't need to have more XG than our opponent to get a result, which should really worry Arsenal and make them hesitant to commit early on. This is what Mikel Arteta had to say ahead of the game. You can already see his fingerprints in the way he wants to play. He did very well with Sporting. He brought a new energy, but we will focus on ourselves. It'll be a great and beautiful game against United. Giving Amorim his props, but at the same time oozing confidence by saying it's going to be a beautiful game. Hopefully we can make this thing as ugly as possible. Manchester United will be missing a few key players in the fight against Arsenal. Johnny Evans is out with a knock. Luke Shaw is out with another injury. Don't worry, we have a video on him coming out soon. Lenny Yoro is doubtful, given he's still recovering from his leg injury. Lisandro Martinez is suspended. Victor Lindelof is injured. And finally, Kobe Mainu is also suspended. Given that I hold the belief we need to dominate possession in order to really challenge Arsenal in this game, Kobe Mainu is a massive miss. And it looks as though we're going to have to wait to see that Ugarte/Mainu partnership develop. However, this isn't all doom and gloom, given that Manchester United are currently undefeated when Casemiro and Ugarte have started together. It just massively increases the chances of this game ending in a draw. Not to mention Lisandro Martinez, who's going to be a massive miss. Not only is he class in possession, the way he reads the game is so underrated. I mean, look at this. Lisandro Martinez Martinez has made more interceptions, 22, than any other centre-back in the Premier League this season. Realistically, if we want to get a result out of this game, we need 3 players to turn up. And those players are Ahmad, Mazraoui and Onana. Ahmad, I'm not going to go into too much detail because he deserves a whole video dedicated to him at this point. But when you see stats like Amad Diallo has the highest percentage of accurate crosses by wingers in the Premier League this season, his crossing, his pressing, his tenacity, his dribbling, his decision making is everything we need against Arsenal if we're going to challenge in this match. Mazraoui, again, a player who doesn't need an introduction. Arguably our player of the season, the gem of the summer. He's everything that we were told Delo was and more. Not to mention the man has just won our November player of the month. It's good to see people finally giving him his flowers. This is what Amorim had to say on Mazraoui. I think he's the future of our team. We need more players like Noose. And how could I forget Andre Onana, the man leading the race to win the Premier League Golden Glove with 6 clean sheets. The man with the highest goals prevented in the Premier League this season. If he turns up, then there's no way we're conceding sloppy goals like the recent previous games against Arsenal. If all of these players give us a 7.5/8 out of 10, at a minimum, we draw this game. Now, this could either be really smart mind games from Amorim, or he could just be being realistic with the fans. But here's what he had to say before the Arsenal game. I would like to say different things, but I have to say it again. The storm will come. I don't know if you use that expression, but we are going to have difficult moments, and we will be found out in some games. I know that because I'm knowing my players and I know football and I follow football. Guys, the manager is actually saying that we're going to get found out because some of the players. I wonder which players he could be talking about. Diogo Dalot. I mean, you have to respect the blunt honesty of the man because he could easily say the normal drivel of we're going to give it everything we have and fight. But instead, he's literally telling us if it's not in the Arsenal game, we will get found out. It's only a matter of time due to the players not fully understanding the system yet. But not only is Amorim managing the expectations of the fans, he's putting other managers in their boxes as well. Ruben Amorim on Arsenal keeping faith in Mikel Arteta. That is always important for a coach to have that confidence, but we have to acknowledge that Manchester United is a little bit different. That's right, Amorim, talk your shiz. You're the head coach for the greatest team to have ever played the beautiful game. You're not a manager of some little tin pot club that hasn't even won a European trophy. It's a big bit different. This is my predicted 11, with the only changes from the Everton game being Maguire in for Martinez, Ugarte in for Mainu, and Højlund in for Xerxes. Obviously, it's tough on Xerxes given he's just scored 2 goals. However, Højlund is obviously the better finisher out of the two, and I do believe we are going to be playing a bit of counter-attacking football here. However, a part of me really does wonder how much of a mind game Amorim wants to play with Arteta. He's mentioned in previous press conferences how he likes to manipulate managers, so we could just get a completely rogue starting 11. Let's wait and see. Although I'm nervous, I do have a feeling that this game has a draw all over it. We've proven ourselves to be one of the best defences in the league. Amorim will have a few tricks for Arteta along the way, and history is on our side. Arsenal have won their last 3 Premier League games against Manchester United. They've never won 4 in a row against the Red Devils in their league history. I'm feeling a very tense 1-1, and that's what it comes down to, ladies and gents. We are going to look for moments in the match to dominate, but given the players that are suspended, sadly, I think the best we can hope for is a draw against the Gunners. The team could prove me wrong, and I hope they do, but the thought of Saka cooking Dalot is making my skin itch. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for more honestly biased sports content. Godspeed.